Let's make an ACEO. First things first, let's choose our paper. I use Arches hot press watercolor paper. It's my favorite smooth, high quality paper to work with. I've made a template beforehand of the exact size my ACEOs need to be. The standard size for ACEOs is 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. That's really the only hard and fast rule for ACEOs. Other than that, you can paint, draw, and create an ACEO any way you like. Here you can see the template I made earlier. I'm using it to trace out each individual card from a larger sheet of paper. This is a really great way to be efficient with your time, especially if you're planning on making a whole series of paintings all at once. If you didn't catch it earlier, this is a 9 by 12 sheet of paper. Now it's time to cut our paper. I'm using a paper trimmer by Fiskars to cut down my larger piece of paper into individual pieces. Now for the fun part, creating your artwork. Because I always do watercolor paintings for my ACEOs, I like to sketch out my drawing beforehand. Thankfully, because of the quality of my paper, I can sketch out and erase my idea a bunch of times without ruining the paper's surface or texture. Something else to consider doing before you start sketching, especially if you're wanting to make an entire series of paintings at once, do some brainstorming sessions in your sketchbook. That way you'll have a solid plan instead of staring at a blank piece of paper before you start. Now it's time to paint. Like I mentioned earlier, brainstorming in your sketchbook in advance can be really helpful, especially if you're unsure of your composition and your colors. The watercolors I'm using right now are from Daniel Smith. This is my favorite professional brand of watercolor paint. The pigments are very smooth and all blend together very well. I will stress this point though, you absolutely do not need expensive art supplies to make ACEOs. I make artwork professionally, so these are the tools that I use every day. Shameful plug, I do have all of the supplies you see in this video, plus alternative, more affordable options, linked on my Amazon storefront in my link tree if you feel curious and want to take a look. I'm also always happy to answer any questions in the comments about supplies and techniques. While our painting is drying, let's talk packaging. This is called Chipboard. It's what I use as a stabilizer behind each one of my paintings. I also like to add this little sticker that has my social media handles on it. That way buyers can find me online later. Now this next item is just completely extra, unnecessary, and I bought it because it was cool. It's a thank you stamp. Again, unnecessary and just a fun little extra. Please ignore that this is a different painting. Another extra I like to add, especially for collectors, is a certificate of authenticity. Again, I'm being very extra and decided to make it a sticker I can put on the back of the painting. I also decided to make it shiny. You don't have to do that. In fact, you don't have to do any of this. But it is a nice record for your buyers. It gives them all the info about the piece, plus a great place to sign your work so you aren't signing it on the front. These are the cellophane baggies I use to package everything together. They're 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, just big enough to accommodate your painting plus the chipboard. And that's it. Stay tuned for my next video, all about shipping and listing your ACEO on eBay.